Hey, today I think I'm going to put the paintbrush down for a little bit and I'm going to work back inside the trailer. And what I have in mind has to do with the workbench. More precisely, underneath. You see this leg right here? This is just sitting there. I've had these wedged in place for quite a while. Even underneath the heavy vise, there's just a temporary leg just sitting there. One of the reasons that's the case is because I haven't decided what I was going to do. However, sitting here often enough, I've come to realize that to make it easier to clean up in here, what I've envisioned is a piece of linoleum or something that kind of goes across the bottom, then dog legs over and stops right here at this lip where the metal begins. Then I could use a leaf blower or a broom or something and easily sweep the dirt out. So what that would require is a frame that goes right there underneath the edge of this. Over here where the fridge is, the frame is just going to stop and come up so I can open and close the door without hitting anything. And the table saw here, I would like for there not to be a frame there that I have to lift it up and over. So that too would go down here and then continue over. I think I might offset these legs back a little bit further so that I can get stuff out, like this crate right here. See, this leg is directly in the way of where that crate is. I want this to stay here. I want the crate, at least something similar like that, to stay there. So if I set this back, I can pull the crate out without having the corner here. These are pretty heavy, the generators, and I wouldn't want to have to lift them up and over a piece of framework or something like that. I would rather be able to slide them out. However, I don't think that those are going to stay there. And the chair, I like to have a chair here to do my editing, or if company comes over, I have a seat there. I've got a seat here. I can pull a seat out from up top, so that's kind of nice and it's come in handy. But at the end of the day, I like to slide the chair in. You see it's kind of hitting that carpet and foam down there. So a little bit further back from there is where I would like another framework, and it'll come across. And then I can have some cabinets back there and still be able to pull the seat forward. And the white dog always likes to get under there into her little cave, so she'll still have a spot too. So I've envisioned all of this just sitting around, and finally I'm getting to the point where I'm a little bit burnt out on painting. Plus the weather's been wet lately, so I don't want to continue painting only to have it wash away. Fortunately, I've got some lumber sitting over here in the underneath area. I've taken a few of these and ripped them in half with the table saw. This will be the frame on the bottom. These full pieces I can use in the corners. Yeah, I think today is the day that I start on the bottom of the workbench. I think I'm gonna need you. This was an exciting day for me because I had long anticipated building the bottom of the workbench. And knowing that everything on top of this framework would rely on the frame being square, I sharpened my pencils really nicely. After making that first cut, which was easy because it was just a little short piece, I next had to do the long piece that would go down the length of the workbench. But I didn't know where that ended without taking some measurements based on where the seat stops. 16. Hell, you can go 17. I was finding a lot of motivation here because every time I wanted to do something, I had to shuffle everything around. Anyways, I went ahead and I took a measurement for the next piece of the framework. I realized that piece was going to be well over 8 feet, so I walked outside and just cut a piece that I had left over from the first cut, and its overall length didn't really matter. Then I put it in place and I moved the vise, again shuffling things around just to build something. And I had to remove all the temporary legs in order to put this in place. Now I was ready to secure the first part of the framework. After that was done, I secured the next piece of the framework, and I was ready for the very first permanent leg of the workbench. I went outside and dug myself up a full-size 2x4 since I wanted something really stout that was going to go under this corner where the vise was. This way I could really pound on it if I had to. Heck yeah, this is the first time that I've had a really sturdy bench top in this workshop. One big screw was enough to hold that corner in place, since there'd be a lot of other components eventually holding it together. Then I measured the last little piece of this part of the frame, and Mother Nature decided for me that it was time for a break. That fan is on. That fan shut off by itself, and I'm charging my batteries. And I've got the doors open even though it's raining out. Because I have an awning. Aside from a little bit of splash over from the dog's dish, I don't see any water on the floor. You can feel the temperature change now that it's raining. I can actually step out a little bit. I can smell the rain. So nice. What do you think, pups? I think the awning is a success. Not only was it nice to revel in something that I had already finished, but it was also nice not to have to fill up the bird bath. And it was really nice to not have to close the doors just because we got a little gentle rain. Your mouth is dripping. You drinking? Making a mess? You making a mess? Huh? Obviously you can't keep everything dry because, you know, slobbery puppy dogs. As I've done many times in the past, when friends come over, and one must be very polite when you have company, I always make it a point to stop what I'm doing when the dogs want to just hang out and cuddle and be affectionate. These moments in our lives are limited, and we ought to take advantage whenever we can. But before you know it, the rain stopped and it was time to get back to work. As you may be able to tell, I've already done a little bit of framework since then with the camera off, and this was the next big significant thing, to add a little ventilation to what would someday be my battery compartment. You want that omelet, right? I'm gonna have to bust this egg up. Yes, sir. I guess I gotta make a hole in the truck. I guess I could use that. Where's the hole? Yep. Going for spackle and paint, which makes it what is from what ain't. Now you done it, Marty. You really did it this time. Yeah, well, my battery compartment needs ventilation, damn it. Take that. That's where you're gonna live. That don't look too bad. Somewhere out there, there's a mud dauber who's like, ooh, I'm going in there. Oh boy, I'm going in there. I'm gonna make some mud daubs. Yes. Look how nice and light it is in here, I gotta say. You know, not so light, lighter. This place needs windows someday. Here you can see what this vent looks like straight out of the package. I bought these off of Amazon. Unfortunately, these fans were more like a bathroom fart fan. Very loud, they move a tremendous amount of air, and they're very noisy. However, it was really easy to install. And after I had them installed, my job was to replace the fans that came with them, these big dookie things here, with something smaller that I had in my computer fan stash. These were going to move air just fine, but they were going to be way quieter, and these are designed to run 24/7. Unfortunately, it was going to take some heavy modification to get them to fit. That's where this starboard came in handy. And the first step was to drill a big hole in it. And as luck would have it, I had a hole saw that was a perfect size to allow air in and out from these fans. Well, now that I had this adapter all fit out, and I knew that the fans would be able to blow air through those big holes, I now needed a way to attach the starboard to that white plastic vent on the outside. Oh yeah. With that adapter in place, I went into my screw stash, which never seems to disappoint. Miraculously, there's always the screws that I happen to need in there just waiting to be used. These would hold the fans to the starboard. Once I had two of these, it was time to swap out the old with the new. Much better. Get back to work over choppy like sardines. Now let's see if these fans are going to be any quieter than the original fans. We know that one's loud. How about this one? Some background noise, but not too bad right now. Nice. These fans will help vent the battery compartments.
Venting prevents explosion. Ooh, this is hard. Where's my tab? Okay then, yes, vent the stupid gas.
Some of you guys that work with batteries know that they will off-gas things like hydrogen, which can be corrosive for electronics and potentially a little bit explosive. So yeah, installing these fans was all part of the plan. I certainly did think that it would have been easier to swap this out so I don't drop screws all over the place before I installed it in the wall. However, I wanted to know that I'd be able to service it if I had to, like if a mud dauber gets in here or if I have to clean it out, replace the fans, whatever the case may be. I wanted to know that I'd be able to get in here. And after studying the framework before I built it, and as I built it, I decided that yes, I would be able to service this. And yes, I could go ahead with installing the original before I modified the new fans. So I'm glad that worked out and my confidence paid off. Now ideally, you must know that I wouldn't have lead acid batteries. I would have lithium ion batteries, which are much lighter, and my battery bank would be placed underneath the truck to lower the center of gravity as best as I could. However, this is what I'm dealt with so far. These are the batteries that I got off my boat, And so far, they're working pretty good. And with the fan, I feel pretty confident. Especially since it's late in the hurricane season as I do this voiceover, and there is a big storm out there. This workshop is really going to pay off in case the lights go out.